All right, greetings, everyone. I'm back and welcome to Beyond Boardroom Business. I'm your host, Coach Stephanie, and I really appreciate you all tuning in every week because I'm going to be here every week. That's right, it's every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, I have another amazing guest that's never going to let you down. So please make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, depending on where you are, because this is aired on iHeart. It's aired on Apple Podcasts. It's aired on Alexa. It's also on all of my social media platforms. And I am always looking forward to meeting other trailblazers so we can all make a difference because, hey, there's room at the top for everyone, right? So without further ado, I want to introduce my next host, my next guest, my apologies. And she's an amazing woman. I tell you, she is definitely true to the cause. And she's the co founder and COO of the Wright Cause. Again, it's the Wright Cause Urban Youth Conservation. So let me say that again and let me say it correctly. Again, it's she is the co-founder and the COO of the Right Cause Urban Youth Conservation. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Sade Wright. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Thank you. I know I tripped up a little bit, but it's a long title, but it's so needed. And so thank you in advance for helping the youth and helping and everything that you do. You as well as your husband, Sean, right? I
Yes.
really appreciate this organization. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do and why you do it?
Yes. So our organization is the Right Cause Urban Youth Conservation. You can do short TWC, UIC, or just the Right Cause. But our mission is to embolden marginalized communities through housing stability, education, community engagement, and advocacy. So we provide transitional housing for youth and emerging adults whom HIV impacts. We do
Wow.
education. We have a program called Empowered for Life, where we teach life skills, soft skills, um, self checks, HIV prevention and treatment. We do any training that our community needs at the time because we know there is, not a one size fits all when it comes to our needs. We have a program called 1 Hour Infinite Impact, where we teach the community to engage and volunteer with just 1 hour of service. And then we do advocacy and social justice, where we teach the community how to advocate. Well, actually, this is a nationwide deal, major cities throughout the US. We teach you how to advocate for yourself, others, and causes using AI. And we also advocate for individuals incarcerated as youth. So, right now, we have a couple of um, individuals who were incarcerated about 20 years ago. We know that youth from marginalized communities are often over sentenced, more like always over sentenced. So we
Oh,
have two individuals who were sentenced. Um, One was given life without parole at the age of 19. His name is Terry Pettis. And another individual was given 43 years. His name is Marcus Brown. Both of those individuals are working towards having their sentences commuted, and we're advocating and working hard to just draw attention to their cases. We have social media pages dedicated to um, who is Terry Pettis on Instagram. That's
okay.
dedicated. Terry Pettis gets on and he talks about, any and everything, mental health, some of the things that he's going through, some of the programs that he's running in within the prison system, and it's just really a good platform to let people know, you're not a crime, and you're not, you know, the same person you were a year
Yeah.
ago, let alone 20 years ago. So just drawing attention to those cases, and why we do it.
Yes.
Both of us are from North Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we grew up in a marginalized community. Things happened to us. We've been through lots of things. And for me, I spent a lot of my career, I would say, fueling white supremacy. And
Mm.
I decided, as a traumatic brain injury survivor, I
Wow.
decided that every day that I get up and I am well enough to work, well enough to help, well enough to do something, that something is going to be helping my community. And
Yes.
that's where we decided, and with Sean, we grew up a couple blocks from each other, and our life kind of, our couple, went in a different direction. His young life led him to prison.
Wow.
So getting through prison and coming out and getting your life together and getting established, and instead of him jumping back in to continue fueling, he
Right.
decided that together we will impact our community positively and help everyone that we can. And we're showing our daughter that helping people is what you have to live by. Our community is not going to get better unless we all work together and really try to help each other. The reason for Resilience Rising, that's our transitional housing program. When you think about the things that impact marginalized communities the most,
Mhm.
especially Black women right now, is
Yeah.
HIV. Black women have the highest transmission rates of HIV. And
Wow.
after that, it's men who have sex with men. And then, you know, several other communities after that. So, what we wanted to do is to address a topic that, some organizations full on work in HIV and
Yeah.
some don't touch it at all. And we wanted to make sure that this, since it's huge, we want the epidemic to end, we want to erase stigma, we
Yeah.
have to really work hard and focus on those impacted by HIV. And when we
Wow.
and when we talk about HIV, being impacted by, is different from living with. We do help those living with HIV, and we help those impacted by and not living with HIV, because we want to make sure that they continue not being positive for HIV, not contracting HIV. And we want to support those living with HIV to make sure that they have the resources and the tools that they need to stay alive, to stay healthy, to, thrive in the work field, or thrive in their own business, whatever that looks like for that individual. We want to make sure that they can do that whether or not they're living with HIV.
Wow, that's really commendable for you as well as your husband to have this organization. Because just imagine if you weren't around and all of the people that you have come across and you have helped and you continue to help. As I was mentioning to you earlier, I would teach yoga and entrepreneurship within the youth detention centers across the state of Georgia and inside of the juvenile courthouses. And what I've witnessed is that it was just a lot of young teens that just didn't have access to mentorship, proper mentorship. Because I always say, if they knew better, they would do better. But how do you come across the people that you find? How do you find them?
We're always in the community.
Nice.
We're everywhere. A lot of people say, "Well, where's your office?" Yeah, we have two. However, you're more than likely to find us in the communities that we serve. Some are referrals, some are from youth we've already helped. We do help adults as well, but our focus is youth. So, we get referrals. Sometimes it's from hospitals, sometimes other organizations, but really just word of mouth. People see us out in the community. They might see us at an event or come to an event we host. We try to just be visible in the community always to let people know we're actually there for them, and we're doing what our mission is set out to do. We want to be there for the people.
And is this nationwide, all across the country?
So our advocacy efforts are nationwide. However, the transitional housing is in Southeast Dallas. We're actually going to start virtual training soon. So we'll be doing some trainings virtually, and we'll be able to post those through our social media pages. We're at TWCUYC on Facebook, Instagram,
Okay.
LinkedIn. We also have a YouTube channel, uh, the Right Cause Urban Youth Conservation. And we just opened a TikTok account. It's at
Mhm.
the Right Cause UIC.
Okay.
So we're on many platforms. You all can email us and call us. We always answer the phone. So we're not hard to reach. We want to make sure we're there for our community. We just had a recent group of teenagers at a party that was shooting, and we made sure they got an Uber. It just um, we're here wherever we're needed. If we can do it, we'll do it.
That is beautiful. It's so needed. Oh, wow. What are the ages that you primarily work with?
We work with as young as about 10 years old, till they say youth in the United States up to age 35ish, but you have to think about, when it comes to marginalized communities, how long does it typically take us to kind of get everything together, have all the tools that we need? Sometimes it's beyond 35. So our target range is 18 to 24. However, we help younger, we help older. If we can't help you directly, we'll help you find some resources. It's
Okay.
really just like pointing people in the right direction. If we can't help you, we don't want to just say no, we can't do that and then hang up the phone. No, we want to actually take 10. Sometimes it takes 10 minutes to find another resource that will help.
And it's for young women and young men?
Correct. Yeah, we
Okay.
want to help uh, all of our community. um, you know we've been bridging gaps that we didn't think that we would bridge, because we don't have separate um, events or separate meetings or separate trainings for different parts of the community. We help the community as a whole. So we
Yeah.
definitely are there for the community. We're actually planning our next advocacy day for the spring in Atlanta, Georgia. So we're
Okay.
working on that. And then we'll be doing Dallas, Fort Worth, St. Louis, Missouri, and Kansas City. So
Wow.
we're definitely looking forward to connecting with people throughout the United States,
Okay.
and beyond if possible. But
Yes.
we want to make sure that we're um, allowing people and sharing, what we have to offer. You know, I feel like, especially with the advocacy, it's really important that people learn how to advocate, especially for themselves first, and
Yes.
then causes, because people advocate differently. And something you may be good at, and something you may not like. Some people may not like social media, or
Mhm.
some people
Sure.
rather walk and pass out flyers. There's so many different ways to make an impact, and we just want to let people know there's not one way, and you have to start somewhere.
That's right. Now, you mentioned earlier about the statistics with HIV, and you said with African American women. Wow. Now, how do you think that came to be?
Well, you think about stigma. You think about just social media. Just give social media an example. We
Okay.
post pictures of events and this and that, and everybody's liking it. When we post HIV stats or where to get tested, we get zero likes. People are
Mhm.
looking, and we're glad that you're looking, but we want you to engage. We want you to find out. If you have other questions, call us, message us. Um, send it anonymous if you don't feel comfortable. Create a fake email account and email us and ask us questions. But we realize that stigma, especially within the African American community, is really what is keeping HIV alive, because people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to go get tested. They we treat sex as if it's taboo still, and people are not saying, hey partner, let's go get tested together, or when's the last time you've been tested, have you ever been tested, let's go on a date to the testing center. Do we even
Right.
know where the testing center is? So
Right.
there's a lot of different reasons, but when you think about healthcare access as well, some people may not, have the means or know that you can go get tested for HIV for free.
Mm,
Or you may live in a, you know, healthcare desert. There's no healthcare around. You might not have transportation. If you call a few organizations, somebody will pick you up. I know we will. Like if you want to go get tested and you can't find a ride and okay, you know, healthcare access is part of that issue. But when you're in a marginalized community, we're the last to to get the education that's necessary, and that stigma. Until we get rid of stigma for
yeah,
HIV, for mental health, um,
yeah,
we're going to continue to have these issues because we're afraid to talk about it. We're afraid to talk about it with our friends. We're afraid to talk about it with our partners. It should be a regular part of discussions in people's lives. And then when someone, people may even feel like they may have some HIV symptoms. Well, they're afraid to go get tested.
mm,
There's stigma around taking PrEP medication. That's medication to prevent you from contracting HIV. Well,
mm,
I've been hearing, even if, there's a stereotype that if you take PrEP medication, you're a man who have sex with man. And that's not true.
wow, that's
Anybody can take PrEP medication. Women can take PrEP medication. Um,
mm,
it's really uh, it's disheartening that there's so much misinformation or just lack of information out there when it comes to something so serious that
mm,
people will are so afraid to get tested or to take PrEP that they some end up contracting HIV and don't go get treatment. And there's treatment out here. It's changed. Some of the treatment you can take an injection every 3 months and don't have to worry about a daily pill anymore. Like there's so much information out there. You just have to be proactive and try to go get the information. If you need help, reach out to us. I don't care what state you're in, I'll find you a testing facility nearby. So you just have to, reach out and we'll help you out.
oh, that's amazing, and I really thank you for that. And what other ways do you help people?
So with our 1 hour infinite impact, like there's a few communities that we serve throughout DFW, and we're also trying to get some community leaders in other areas to possibly lead their communities. If you contact us and you say, hey, I live in this marginalized community and I really want to help start um, cleaning up the community every Saturday for 1 hour, we can talk about it and possibly get you some equipment out there and make sure that you have what you need to keep your community clean. Um,
Mhm.
with our Empower for Life program, if there's an area of um, education that is needed in the community, or if you're even not sure and you want to teach it, give us a call. We love to have you on to do that, to help our community. And with the advocacy and social justice, we work closely with some other organizations. Dream.org, we did the 2024 Day of Empathy. We had over about 140 people there. We
Wow.
talked about um, the implications of the Clean Slate Initiative
Mm,
as it affects youth. So just we do what the community needs, and we can't do everything. But if we can't do something, we'll tell you we can't, and we'll try to point you in the right direction. And if we can do it, we'll definitely do it.
wow. So what can we look out for to help um, the youth, for the everyday person? If I see the youth for example, when I'm driving to an office or whatever, and I get off the ramp, off the highway, and I see the young men selling bottled water, it's like I really feel for them because they're entrepreneurs, but then their pants are sagging, they look dirty, and it's like I really want to pull them over and talk to them, but I don't. I'm usually on my way to an appointment and I can't talk to them. But uh, I know the youth, they are always looking for ways to feed themselves and to become successful. Um, but how can we encourage them to do the right thing?
When you see them, if you have your cards, or if there's something you want to say to them later, say, hey, here's my card, give us a call.
Okay.
We do that quite often. Sometimes, if there's someone holding a sign that's, says that they need work, or we always have, we keep bottled water, we keep deodorant, we keep Narcan in the car. Like, you just never know. I keep telling people to stop filming people who are nodding, because you never know, that person could be dying. The least you can do, since you have time to film, is go up and
Right.
ask if they are okay. Even if you don't have the Narcan, at least ask them, are you okay? And if they're responsive, sometimes they are okay. But if sometimes they're non-responsive, you can call 911 and save a life. We just have to do better as a human being. We see youth all the time that may be in that situation, passing out water. I talk to people about entrepreneurship and setting up their businesses, and financial literacy all the time. So if there's not a time because they're standing at the corner, say, hey, call me, I can help you. A lot of the times they will. And if they're already kind of doing that, they'll be back on that corner. So when you have time, go back and stop at the corner, and just be able to, your delivery matters.
Yes.
We can't talk at our youth. We have to talk to our youth.
Yes.
We have to advocate for them. We have to be there for them. Talking at them does not work. It does not help. Yelling doesn't help. We have to really be able to sit down and say, hey, I really want to help you. I really want to understand. I really want to, try to figure out how we can support you. Um, I
Yeah.
know, as a youth, for myself, we did a lot of fending for ourselves, and I want to be the person that I wish that I had as a youth. So just being able to say, well, how would I want someone to talk to me, or
Yeah.
how do you tell someone to pull their pants up or put a belt on? Well, give them a belt. That might be that might be what they're lacking. You never know. So it really just depends on, where you are in the situation, but at least try to talk to the youth, try to really get an understanding or something, just of what they may be going through. Our youth
Yeah.
are struggling, and they really need us.
Oh.
We just have to do better.
Yeah. Yeah, and the best way to help them is to educate them. I always say each one reach 10. If we
Correct.
could just,
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
the education is so important, and
yeah,
it doesn't have to be in a classroom setting. It doesn't have to. It can be a one-on-one. Let me take you somewhere. Let me show you, how to sit and have a dinner. Let's teach you some etiquette. It doesn't have to be always in a classroom, or always. A lot of people don't learn that way. A lot of our youth are unfortunately kind of disengaged when it comes to school. So we can educate them without it being a classroom, without it being a scheduled, without we just have to find ways to make it work.
and they're usually disengaged because it's not interesting to them, because it's not teaching them about their history, and so they're not interested. And uh, those are just some of the things that we as African American people should do, is reach out and to the youth and make sure that if we could just teach them one thing, just
Right.
one drop, one seed, one nugget, something that they can take for the rest of their life, it could, who knows what can come of it, but it wouldn't hurt not to do it,
Right. And
to do
I think a lot of communities have kind of given up on their youth, and we can't give up. We have to really just keep trying. Try, if that doesn't work, try a different way.
That's right.
Persistence pays off. Like, we really
Yeah.
have to try our best to keep our youth engaged, keep them active, keep them inside. You know, um, you give example of the youth that keep stealing the cars. Well, um, that takes a little bit of a skill.
That's right.
Teach them something else. Teach them, how to fix cars, or teach them
Right.
some tech, or there are ways that When we need something, we needed it yesterday. And this is what's going on with our youth. A lot of this is done out of desperation. So we
Yes.
have to be able to, as my husband says, we have to outperform the streets.
I
And
like,
and if we're not doing that, then it's going to continue um, to have a negative impact on our youth.
and what I do with the youth that I come across that I have time to speak with, if they just have a GED, they can become highly skilled with a trade,
Yeah.
and then they can connect with the union, and then they'll be able to work for the rest of their lives, getting paid the knowledge. They don't have to go to a school to sign up for a loan. They can join the union, and the union will pay for their knowledge, and they will always be able to eat, always be able to take care of their children. The trades are something that we really need to consider. They took the trades away from the schools, but now it's really time to really take that into consideration. If you have nieces or nephews, children, cousins, make sure that they are aware. I know this firsthand that it really exists and it really helps the youth. And, the youth are at an awkward age because they're not young babies and then they're not adults. And we should not ignore them. That's a very pivotal time in their life because they are making decisions that could really impact the rest of their lives. And again, thank you all for having this organization. But I want to ask you, how did you get started? I know you mentioned that your husband got caught up, but is that the initial reason behind all of this, or is there anything else?
No, I've been volunteering since I was in high school. I used to
Oh,
teach a
wow.
tutoring program. I was about 14. I taught youth how to read. We do a reading program, and I've been volunteering ever since. And
Wow.
I feel like due to being impacted by incarceration, I lean towards volunteering for other nonprofits that have reentry services, like teaching resume writing and interviewing skills. I have a master's degree in management and leadership, so I can
Wow.
pretty much teach anything. So, whatever skill was lacking, if there's something I didn't know, I read up on it, then I go teach it to someone. Really just trying to um, get our community in a better spot, one person at a time, and then we had an opportunity to um, have a house that we could we were tenants for 5 minutes. I mean, we were landlords for 5 minutes, and that wasn't something that we wanted to do long term. So we decided to turn that house into our first transitional home, and
Wow.
that's where it started. But when you think about um, we really did some research on which topics and which programs we really wanted to focus on. And Resilience Rising is our transitional housing program because we really have to. The HIV epidemic impacts
Yeah.
all of us, and we really have to do some work. If we can make some rounds and um, reducing stigma in that area, that says a lot about everything else. Like
Yes.
mental health is next. Like we have to be able and comfortable to. We talk about so many things, but we
Yeah.
can't talk about HIV without getting uncomfortable. We can't talk about, it's unfortunate, but still, so many people don't know how HIV is transmitted. Like
What?
the basics. I was just doing an event last weekend, and I asked every individual that came to my table if they were impacted by HIV. Well, I was in the middle of South Dallas doing this event. South Dallas, very marginalized community, high rates of HIV.
Okay.
And two people out of probably about 100 said yes.
Wow.
So that just tells us that education is needed. And actually, everyone that came to my table got educated because I told them why they were impacted by HIV and what that means to be impacted by HIV without necessarily living with HIV. And
Hmm.
then not ever being tested or not being tested recently kind of makes you unsure of your status. We have to know our status.
Yes, so important. What if someone else wanted to start an organization like yours? What are some of the things that they need to establish to get started?
First and foremost, your heart has to be in it. I think
Mm,
there's a misconception that you start a nonprofit and you're going to get rich. Please get that out of your head. You give way more than you'll ever get, but
Yeah.
give back is the reward. You have to be prepared, to work really hard to help your community. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of resources, a lot of connecting, a lot of trial and error. You just have to be in it. You really just have to be in it. For small minority led organizations, we don't have money thrown at us. It's hard. Um, but if you're not in it, if we weren't in it, we would have been out a long time ago. But
Exactly.
this is our life's goal. We want to be able to impact the community positively for as long as we can. So really,
Wow.
just, you have to stay in the game. That's the first and foremost. A lot of people want to start nonprofits because they have an idea, and that may, okay, well, you can go and do that, but does it take a nonprofit to do it? You really have to just think long and hard about what your goals are. If you might want to add your program to someone else's nonprofit, or it might not be something that should be a nonprofit. Just think about it.
That's
Um,
great.
it's definitely takes some commitment, lots of dedication, hard work. I mean, and a lot of your own resources.
Wow. You are so right. Now, how, with all the different things that you do, Sade, how do you relax and unwind?
So we just had an event in earlier in October, and I kind of just took some days off, take some days off, go and read or go and do something, um, get a massage, take a
Yeah.
take a a day trip or something. But you have to find time because even though you're helping people every day and it feels good, you still have to take time for yourself. And it took me a little while to learn that because I
Okay.
was just going, going, going. When you're a small organization and you wear all these hats, you
Yeah.
don't really, but you have to force yourself. You have to make time. And sometimes just, you know, catching up with someone that you hadn't seen in a while for lunch, that's satisfaction enough for me at times. You just need that. You need that personal time.
That's true. Yeah, we tend to put ourselves on the back burner because we want to make sure everything else is taken care of. So I'm glad that you are able to balance that out because as an entrepreneur, it is very important that we control our self-care, our
Yeah.
self-love. So thank you. I really appreciate this conversation. I really appreciate it. Is there anything that you would like to leave the viewers and the listeners?
I just want to say we have to do better. So whatever that means for you, if there's a youth that you see struggling, or if you are that youth that needs some help, seek help. There's organizations like ours. Like I say, if you call me or send me a message, we'll find you some help. Just really don't fester in your own issues. Really seek help. You're not the only one going through whatever it is that you're going through. There's others that can help you. We really have a lot of resources within the community to be able to at least point you in the right direction, help you find a job, um, you know, be your mentor, take you to lunch. Like, we really just we rather have you call us and for us to be busy than for you to uh, have to deal with your issues alone. We know with the communities that we serve, we're all struggling. We all could use some help. Just reach out and help. And if you're in the capacity to help someone, do it. Um,
Oh, wow.
that's the thing that we really need to just do more of. Can you help? Can you go ahead and help?
Yes. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this interview, and I would love to have you come back in a couple of months and just give us some updates as to what's going on with your organization.
I love to. I love to. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right, you all. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. I always learn with these interviews, and today was no exception. Tonight was no exception. Learning about how to just be able to pull to the side and talk to someone. I, I'm definitely inspired and encouraged to make sure that I take the time to talk to those young men and find some belts because I definitely want to see them pull their pants up. And again, each one reach 10. So again, I hope you all have enjoyed this conversation on Beyond Boardroom Business with your host. I'm Coach Stephanie. I'm a business strategist, book writing coach. Um, I do it all, but my main thing is to help entrepreneurs get ahead because there's room at the top for everyone. And let's get started. Let's keep going. And until the next time, stay prayerful, stay patient, and stay persistent. Thank you all. I look forward to seeing you all next week again, every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my social media. Take care.